To actually be speed running this, how fast could I go? Oh man, that's pretty fast. I don't think I'm killing any. I don't, definitely not killing everything, but I'm killing like some things. Wow, it's like 900 damage right there. That was a lucky hit or something though, overpowered hit. Yeah, it's not killing everything, but it's killing a lot. So as long as I don't go to a dungeon where it's like I have to kill literally everything, speedrunning seems like it. Hey guys, Fan here, and today I'm going to be explaining what I think is the strongest rogue build overall in the beta test, at least the strongest one that I've tested and experienced personally, and it is going to be a Twisting Blade build. So Twisting Blades is where you impale an enemy with your blades. After 1.5 seconds, the blades return to you, dealing extra damage. Overall, it's about 160% weapon damage, and whoever you stuck your blade in takes 8% increased damage, which is important mainly for bosses. When you're spamming this on bosses, they're going to take increased damage, which is very nice. And the reason why this is really strong is because of the last passive here, Advanced Twisting Blades, where your active cooldowns get reduced every time your blades pass through someone. So cooldown reduction, I find in Diablo 4 has been extremely broken, and this is going to be one of two reasons why this build is so strong. I'll tell you the other reason a little bit later, but let's get into the build real quick here. So starting off, I like to start off Puncture, which is a pretty, it's just an energy generator, but the reason I like to start Puncture and put 3 points into it is because the third point guarantees vulnerable. So Puncture throws 3 blades in a spread, but as long as you hit 2 of these blades, the vulnerable is guaranteed. So as long as you're melee range of them, vulnerable is guaranteed. This is very good against bosses because you guarantee vulnerable against those bosses. And guaranteed vulnerable is 20% extra damage, which is massive for a 3-point investment. Alright, moving on. I already talked about Twisting Blades, so won't talk too much about it. You do max out the Twisting Blades tier here, of course, because this is a Twisting Blade build. And going on to the mobility options, we are going to take 2 mobility options here. The first one is going to be 1 point into Shadow Step, and then going all the way to Disciplined Shadow Step. And the second one is going to be Dash, and you can go to all the way to Methodical Dash if you would like to. I didn't have enough points, but once I get more points, I would have gone all the way here as well. And the big thing about this is mobility is very important for this build because the axes from or the blades from Twisting Blade return to you after 1.5 seconds, and they do increased damage on the return, right? So what you want to do is you want to stick someone with these blades, and then you want to dash or teleport as far away as possible, and then you want the return blades to hit everyone in between, right? So when you're killing monsters, you stick it into the first monster, and then you dash behind the whole pack, and then your blades all return to you out, and then they're basically cutting through the entire pack of monsters, and you basically never have to stop doing this. So it's very efficient, very nice clear speed. And having all of these dashes and cooldown reduction on these dashes, in addition to the cooldown reduction on your advanced Twisting Blades, means you basically never run out of dashes. So it's like a cycle of constant dashing, constant blades coming back to you, which makes for very good, fast, clear speed, very efficient, and it's a lot of fun as well. All right, moving on to the next talent tier here, where all we're going to take here is just 1 point into Dark Shroud, and we're going to go all the way up to countering Dark Shroud because you are very squishy as a rogue, so 1 point into Dark Shroud actually does a lot. Now, it's a 20-second cooldown, but with cooldown reduction, this is not a big deal. You can lower this by a lot, potentially, and it gives you a lot of damage reduction just for 1 point. It's very valuable for the first point. Not to mention the upgrade gives you 10% critical strike chance, which is a massive critical strike chance percentage increase. This is one of the biggest I've seen in the game so far. And for a 3-point investment, I think that is a no-brainer to boost your damage. I also forgot to mention I went 3 points into Weapon Mastery. For the Dagger, it means you deal increased damage to healthy enemies, which means, you know, the first time you stick your daggers, the first time they fly back through the healthy enemies, it's going to do 15% extra damage, which I think is a lot. So I like that as well. Moving on, we're actually going to skip the imbuement skills. I think overall imbuement skills have been kind of weak. First of all, the shadow and the cold imbuement actually don't do anything if there's only one target. So against bosses, these two don't even do anything. And second of all, the whole thing just feels like kind of underwhelming. I've been playing around a lot with it, and it's just never felt particularly good to me. So we're skipping that. Um, and we're going to go ahead and go on to the next tier, which is your ultimate tier. And here we're going to get Shadow Clone with full upgrades. This is very nice because one, it's the most single target damage out of all of the ultimates. So taking this boosts our single target damage by a lot, but also since it mimics your abilities and our ability is a ability that's decent at clearing PvE, clearing AoE, this actually also helps a lot in the PvE. So this is basically just a lot more damage, and the cooldown once again is long, but since we have a lot of cooldown reduction, you're going to be able to use this very frequently, potentially even being able to kind of chain it over and over. So very good with this build, and that is all for the skill tree. There's two more things you need to make this build work. One is the Twisting Blades legendary passive. As you can see here, what it does is the blades will orbit for a short time after they return to you, which makes it even easier to AoE clear mobs, and it adds some extra damage to a Twisting Blade rotation as well. And based on the distance traveled for the blades, it does extra damage as well. So pretty good, adds a lot of damage to the Twisting Blade build. And the second thing that you will need for this build is going to be the Inner Sight specialization for Rogue. So you need this one because without Inner Sight, without this energy boost, you can only use Twisting Blades 3 times before you run out of energy, and 3 Twisting Blades is not like amazing. It's okay, but it's not amazing. But with Inner Sight, every time this activates, you can just unlimited spam Twisting Blades, and you can go from 3 to like 10, 11, 12, maybe even more once you buff your attack speed up more. So the damage output is just astronomical. And here's the thing, right? So this is unlimited mana, unlimited energy, and then Twisting Blades is cooldown reduction. So when you combine unlimited energy with cooldown reduction, you're starting to get the situation where you potentially have unlimited cooldowns and unlimited energy, which is obviously going to be extremely broken, and that's why I think this is the best rogue build in the beta so far. I will attach some gameplay footage so you guys can kind of see how this build functions at the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the build, and I'll see you guys next time.